Okay, good morning everybody. We're going to get started with our core work. So when you're ready, you just need one regular dumbbell. So when you're ready, you're going to come down onto your forearms to begin. We've got the palms facing up and the elbows are directly under the shoulders. Your body's in a straight line. So you want to check to make sure you're not hiking your hips up. You're not sagging your hips down. So we're just going to hold this forearm plank for another 30 seconds. So we're just kind of engaging the core muscles, getting everything warm here. Pull the navel in towards your spine. Let's focus on our breath. So that breath should be constant and steady. All right, let's go another 5 seconds. And now we're going to drop the knees, stretch it back to child's pose. Now you're going to pick up your regular dumbbell. So this is a medium heavy dumbbell. And you're going to put it in your right hand. We're going to come up onto our toes. And if it's too hard, you're going to drop your left knee. So take the right dumbbell, that dumbbell in the right hand, you're going to reach it out. We're doing a plank row. Leave the elbow. Now we're just getting right into it. Yeah, this is a tough one. So you might want to take your feet a little wider than your hips. Let's make sure the wrist is directly under the shoulder. You're going to reach that dumbbell way out in front of you, and the weight is not touching the floor at any point. Your hips are square to the mat, so you're not turning those hips out. Lead with your elbow. And make sure you're going slow here. So you're moving in slow motion. Let's do that one more plank row on the right. Now you're going to drop your knees, stretch it back. So a brief rest in child's pose, and then we're going to switch sides. I've got the dumbbell in my left hand. If I'm modifying, my right knee is going to be on the floor. Reach that dumbbell forward. We're going to row and reach with pause. Now repeat that. So fingers are spread out wide. Your wrist should be directly under the shoulder. And again, you're not turning those hips out. So you want to keep your hips looking down at the floor. I've got my feet a little wider than my hips for stability. If this hurts your wrist, a yoga block is a good option. That right wrist is going to get tired. Just remember that's totally normal. All right, let's do that. 2 more with the plank row on the left lead. Last one here. All right, bring it down, stretch it back. Brief child's pose. Then we're going to flip around onto our backs. We're going to take the right leg straight up in the air. Left leg hovers. Right arm comes out to the right. Left fingertips come to the outside right ankle bone. Everybody look at my back. My upper back is not touching the floor. Now change sides. Leg is going to hover over the floor. The most important thing about this particular exercise is you have to lift the shoulder blades off the floor. Place the tongue at the roof of the mouth. You're going to look straight down at your belly button, keeping that neck in a neutral position. Pointing the toes and the legs should be completely straight. Robert, welcome. Legs are completely straight. The arms are not touching the floor, and the leg does not touch the floor. See if you can lift the upper back a little bit higher. Really focusing on your form. Remember, good form equals good results. Now let's do that one more time each side, going at your pace. And then when you finish, bring that head down, hug the knees into the chest. Now take your hands behind the head, legs are in tabletop, knees over hips, full body crunch. So you're going to crunch the knees in, extend the legs out 45 degrees and pause. Crunch the knees in, extend out. Now remember, there's no momentum here. So you're not rocking the hips around. You're engaging core muscles to drive those knees into the chest. So we want to exhale as we crunch the knees in, inhale as we extend the legs out. Now we're going to do this full body crunch, and we're going to make a slight change. So let's do one more here, and then everybody look at the change. We're going to crunch in, and then I'm going to take my toes and tap them on the floor. So I'm crunching in, slowly, controlled. Toes are going to tap. Now the lower back needs to stay pressed into the floor when you tap those toes down. You are pulling the navel in, so you've got that constant contraction. Let's do that full body crunch 4 more times with the toe tap. Looking good, everybody. Morning, Jeanette. Hey, 2 days this week. That's amazing. All right, let's do that one more time with our toe tap. And then hug the knees into the chest. Great job, everybody. All right, you're gonna bring your hands underneath your booty, palms facing down, legs are straight up in the air. We're gonna point the toes. Let's do a crisscross. Work your way down to 45 degrees. Once you get to that 45-degree angle, you're gonna stay there for 4 to 6 reps. Legs are hopefully 95 to 100% straight. And then you're gonna work your way back up slowly. So for this particular exercise, most people do it too fast. So what I want you to do when you're moving up and down with those legs, force yourself to go in slow motion. However slow you're going right now, I want you to go slower. Not necessarily on the crisscross portion, but on the lift and lower portion. We are pointing the toes, and again, the legs should be as straight as possible, the principle of the long lever. Straighter your legs are on this exercise, the harder your core muscles have to work. Looking strong, everybody. Nice job. Don't forget, when you're down in that 45-degree angle position, you're pausing for 4 to 6 reps. The lower back is probably going to get tired before the rectus abdominis. That's pretty normal. Let's do that one last time. Great job. So you're either lifting or you're lowering. And then when you finish, hug the knees in. Grab beneath one knee, help yourselves up to seated. We're gonna have our regular dumbbell, our medium dumbbell here as an option. Now we're gonna come over onto the left side of the body with the elbow directly under the shoulder. We're gonna lift up, lift your hips up to your highest point, and then you're gonna slowly lower, tap that left hip and lift. Now I want this to be more challenging, so I'm gonna take this 7.5-pound dumbbell and put it on my hip to make myself heavier. You can add the dumbbell or not. Most important thing to remember here is there's no plopping. So it's very tempting for me to just plop my hip down. You're using the strength in your core plus a bunch of other muscles to control that movement and not plop down. We are barely letting the hip touch the floor. So it's all about using your muscles and never using momentum. If this hurts your elbow, you're gonna roll up your mat from the top, use that extra cushioning. One more time, left lead. When you finish, put that weight down if you had it, swing the legs around. Everybody loves this one. I can always tell you guys are all giving me like the same look, like, come on, we need 18 on our side. We love it, but we hate it. All right, we're gonna lift up. This one makes me sore every time, All right, so you're gonna slowly lower. This is what it looks like without the dumbbell. Lift up to your highest point. If you want that extra challenge, make yourself a little heavier, put that dumbbell on your hip, and again, no plopping. Really control it. You've got your elbow directly under the shoulder. Focus on the breath. Slower is always better. So again, force yourself to use that slow motion pace. You guys are doing awesome. We're almost done with our core work. See if you can lift those hips just a little bit higher. Let's do 2 more and you're done. Here we go, one more and you're done. Excellent, put that dumbbell down. All right, we're gonna get set up for strength training. Awesome job getting here early, everybody. And we're making some videos.